Your roof is the single most important barrier between your family and the outside world, yet it's also the part of the house that gets the least attention until something goes seriously wrong. Most homeowners walk past warning signs every single day without realizing what they're looking at. And by the time water is dripping onto the ceiling, the damage has often been building for months or even years. In this video, we're going to walk through the most common roofing problems homeowners ignore until it's too late, why they happen, what they cost if left unchecked, and what you can do right now to catch them early before they turn into five-figure repair bills. Let's start with the most overlooked issue of all, which is missing or damaged shingles. A few cracked or curling shingles might not seem like a big deal, especially if you can't see them from the ground. But shingles are your roof's first line of defense against rain, wind, and sun damage. Once a shingle is compromised, water can seep underneath it and start working its way into the wood decking below. This process is slow and silent, which is exactly why so many homeowners miss it. You won't see a leak on day one. You'll see it months later, usually as a small brown stain on your ceiling that seems to appear out of nowhere. By that point, the wood underneath may already be soft, rotting, or growing mold. The fix at that stage is no longer a simple shingle replacement. It's a full section of decking replacement, and that's where costs start to climb fast. Another problem that homeowners consistently ignore is granule loss on asphalt shingles. If you've ever cleaned out your gutters and noticed what looks like coarse black or gray sand sitting at the bottom, that's not dirt, that's your shingles literally wearing away. Those granules protect the shingle from UV rays and help it shed water properly. When they wash away, the shingle becomes brittle and far more vulnerable to cracking and leaking. Granule loss is a natural part of aging, but excessive granule loss is a clear signal that your roof is nearing the end of its lifespan and needs a professional inspection sooner rather than later. Flashing problems are another silent culprit behind major roof leaks. Flashing is the thin metal material installed around chimneys, skylights, vents, and anywhere two roof surfaces meet. It's designed to create a watertight seal in the most vulnerable areas of your roof. Unfortunately, flashing can loosen, corrode, or crack over time, especially after extreme temperature swings. Because flashing failures often happen in hard-to-see areas, homeowners rarely notice until water has already found its way into the attic. If you ever notice water stains near a chimney or skylight on your ceiling, damaged flashing is very often the hidden cause. Let's talk about clogged gutters, because this is a problem almost every homeowner underestimates. Gutters aren't just there to keep your yard from flooding. They play a critical role in directing water away from your roofline and your foundation. When gutters fill up with leaves, twigs, and debris, water has nowhere to go, so it pools directly against the edge of your roof. Over time, this constant moisture exposure causes the roof edge, known as the fascia board, to rot. It also creates the perfect environment for ice dams to form in colder months, which we'll get into shortly. Cleaning your gutters twice a year, especially in the fall, is one of the cheapest and most effective ways to protect your entire roofing system. Speaking of colder climates, ice dams are one of the most damaging and most misunderstood roofing problems out there. An ice dam forms when heat escaping from your attic melts snow on the upper part of your roof, and that meltwater runs down and refreezes at the colder eaves. This creates a thick ridge of ice that blocks proper drainage, forcing water to back up underneath your shingles and into your home. Many homeowners assume ice dams are simply a winter weather issue that can't be avoided, but in reality, they're almost always caused by poor attic insulation and ventilation. If your roof develops icicles or ice buildup along the edges every winter, that's not just an aesthetic issue, it's a sign that warm air is escaping where it shouldn't be, and it's worth having your attic insulation checked. Poor attic ventilation deserves its own mention because it quietly shortens the lifespan of an otherwise healthy roof. When hot, moist air gets trapped in your attic, it doesn't just cause ice dams in winter. It also cooks your shingles from underneath during the summer, causing them to age and deteriorate far faster than they should. On top of that, trapped moisture creates ideal conditions for mold growth on your roof decking, which can lead to health issues and structural damage that are expensive to remediate. Proper attic ventilation is one of those invisible systems that most homeowners never think about, yet it directly affects how long your roof will actually last. Sagging roof lines are another red flag that too many homeowners write off as normal aging. A roof should always appear straight and even from the ground. If you notice any dipping, sagging, or wavy patterns, that's a structural warning sign, not a cosmetic quirk. Sagging usually indicates that the roof decking or support structure has been weakened by prolonged moisture exposure, excess weight from multiple layers of old shingles, or in some cases, a slow structural failure that has been developing for years. This is one issue you should never wait on, because a sagging roof can eventually lead to a partial collapse, especially under heavy snow load. Let's not forget about tree damage, which is one of the most preventable roofing problems out there. Overhanging branches might look charming, but they scrape against shingles every time the wind blows, gradually wearing down the protective surface. Falling branches during storms can crack shingles or puncture the roof outright, and fallen leaves that pile up in valleys and gutters trap moisture against the roof surface. Trimming back branches that hang over your roof line is a simple, low-cost maintenance task that prevents a surprising amount of long-term damage. Chimney deterioration is another area homeowners tend to ignore simply because they never look up there. Cracked chimney caps, crumbling mortar, and damaged flashing around the chimney base are common entry points for water. Because the chimney is often the tallest and most exposed part of the roof, it takes the brunt of weather exposure year-round. A small crack in the chimney crown might seem insignificant, but it allows water to seep into the brick and mortar. And in freezing climates, the trapped moisture expands and contracts with every freeze-thaw cycle, slowly breaking the structure apart from the inside. One of the sneakiest problems of all is a leak that isn't actually where the water stain appears. Water doesn't always drip straight down from where it enters the roof. It often travels along the underside of the decking or along a rafter before dripping somewhere completely different inside the home. This is why so many homeowners patch the wrong spot, thinking they've solved the problem only to find the same stain reappear weeks later. If you're dealing with a mystery leak, it's almost always worth having a professional trace the actual entry point rather than guessing based on where the damage shows up indoors. Improper previous repairs are another hidden issue that plagues far more homes than people realize. A roof that's been patched multiple times by different contractors, or worse, by a well-meaning homeowner with a tube of roofing cement, often ends up with mismatched materials and inconsistent sealing. These patchwork repairs might stop a leak temporarily, but they rarely address the underlying cause, and they can actually trap moisture in ways that accelerate decay. If your roof has a long history of quick fixes, it may be time to consider a more comprehensive inspection, rather than another Band-Aid solution. So how do you catch these problems before they escalate into major repairs? The answer is consistency. Walk around your property at least twice a year, ideally in spring and fall, and look at your roof from a distance for any sagging, discoloration, or missing shingles. Check your gutters for granule buildup and clear out debris regularly. Look inside your attic for any signs of water staining, daylight coming through the roof boards, or unusual dampness, since your attic will almost always show early warning signs long before they appear inside your living space. And any time you experience a major storm, take a few minutes afterward to do a visual check for obvious damage, because catching a problem within days is dramatically cheaper than catching it months later. At the end of the day, your roof is doing an enormous amount of work protecting your home every single day, and it rarely asks for attention until something has already gone wrong. The homeowners who avoid the biggest, most expensive repairs are almost always the ones who treat roof maintenance as a routine task rather than an emergency response. A small investment in regular inspection and upkeep today can easily save you thousands of dollars in structural repairs down the road. And it gives you peace of mind every time it starts to rain. If this video helped you understand your roof a little better, take a few minutes this week to actually go outside and take a good look at it. Because the earlier you catch a problem, the smaller and cheaper that problem will always be.